Good morning, Dr. Gleason. This is going to be my 5-minute short and sweet video to accompany the submission of my final case study analysis. Just so you know, I couldn't find a way to combine my assessment battery as well as my assessment battery and my case study analysis, so I had to submit two separate documents. My assessment battery is the same document that you had already seen and graded. So in my analysis, I referenced certain pages in there, but I just decided that because it was already all attached together in a PDF, I would submit that by itself. So if at any point during the video you see my eyes diverting to my screen, it's because I'm referencing the brief presentation that I prepared on Google Slides for our supposed Class 8. Unfortunately, due to the storm, I suppose that's the reason why we didn't have class, which is sad because I kind of feel like we needed that kind of cumulative ending to our course. But anyway, my case study was about a 5th grade student that I had actually had as I was a long-term substitute in their class at the beginning of this past academic school year. And it was interesting to utilize him as my informant for this project, mostly because in November I left their classroom and their initial teacher came back from a maternity leave, and so I sort of got to kickstart the year for him and establish more of the ESL services and whens and wheres that was going to take place, and gauge a little bit about his initial English language abilities, and then by assessing him and talking with him through an interview at the very end of the school year, it was very neat to see how he progressed. Also, by looking at his final report card, it was really inspiring to me that he made such growth and that he was able to utilize his 1 year here in America for increasing his English language proficiency. So let's see. I'm going to try and keep the screen. Okay, there we go. So Dong Young was a former 5th grade student of mine, as I mentioned. He is from South Korea. I already explained why he was the perfect informant, and it was awesome to see so much progress that he had made in both his vocabulary development, reading abilities, writing abilities, from where he was at the start of the year when I first started to work with him. So through the home language survey, I determined that Korean is the primary language spoken at home. However, Dong Young does use some English at home because his parents need to learn too. He does have an older brother. He loves to draw, read, do origami, and code on the computer. He's extremely technologically proficient, and he uses YouTube videos and PowerPoint presentations that reside on his home computer to further his coding skills. He loves math the most and certainly excels academically here. He had some language instruction, English language instruction in Korea. However, as you may have read through the interview with him, speaking, writing, reading, were things that weren't taught. It was more vocabulary and grammar. And unfortunately, Dong-young is moving back to Korea this summer, as his family only moved across seas to increase both his and his brother's English language proficiency, which is not uncommon of Korean families, as they hold education to a super high standard and a priority. So the writing assessment that I administered was let's start with the reading. So the reading assessment I administered came from Teachers College at Columbia University, and otherwise known as the Reading and Writing Project.org. It's a running record that is each based on an expected band level, so like a text level that correlates to each grade. So for the beginning of 5th grade, students are expected to come in reading somewhere between the RST band and then exit 5th grade reading somewhere along the lines of the TU and occasional V text level band. I administered Dong-young both the level R and the level S, as the level R seemed to prove to be his independent reading level, and so I aimed to find or to determine his instructional reading level as well. Within the running records, there were also comprehension questions, so that leads to the writing assessment. At first, I asked Dong-young to write his answers to the second running record I administered, comprehension questions, and there were only 4 questions, which really gave me only 4 sentences to show for his writing abilities, so I decided to administer a writing prompt following. It was the same one that we had looked at in class, Manuel's writing sample. So it asked the question, if you could be someone else for a day, who would you be, and why would you be that person? Dong-young demonstrated that he could write at least 2 sentences, but they were run-on sentences. But I also had him write his response in Korean just to see, the difference and the ease writing in his L1 versus his L2. There was a sample a picture of the writing assessment that I had included in here. And I touched upon his literacy strengths, so both in reading and writing. In reading, he has a pretty well-developed vocabulary, which is very key in the English language development of EL learners. It really immerses them in the American culture and the English language. Even the miscues that he had on the running records made sense. He's fairly fluent. He more often than not read with attention to punctuation. He is super motivated, which is a great strength of his. He loves to read. He was reading Korean from the start, as I encouraged him to bring in Korean texts from home to read in class, as we were establishing, his reading level, his baselines, and his plan for ESL instruction. He had Korean books in his backpack, actually, which just further shows that, he has a love for reading. And he loves to learn about new things and new hobbies, and there is a strength built in his interests as well. In writing, he definitely knows general punctuation and capitalization rules, and some use of transitions. And I also dissected his his writing assessment and recognized that he has the basic English subject verb object word pattern down. So his sentence structure was I would say okay for where he started and to where he progressed. As far as challenges, I detailed those in my paper, and this video is running more than 5 minutes long. Overall, it was a great experience in working with Donghyun, both as I had him as a student and as then again as my informant for this project. And again, it was very interesting to see how much progress and growth he made from the start of the year to the end of the year. And I really appreciated his family's cooperation and allowance of allowing me to have Donghyun as my informant. I hope that covers most of the details, and otherwise you can find them in my paper. Thank you again for another summer of a great class, and I hope to see you in the fall.